Episode 3. Quick hands up for Jesus. That's yellow.
What?
And that's not as bad as I thought.
Yellow?
It is piping
Damn.
in this greenhouse.
Probably the warmest day of the year so far, and we're in like a basically conservative type
Just
thing.
seen Alan Parrish down there. I don't know what he's doing.
Alan Parrish?
Yeah.
Me Alan Titchmarsh?
No, Jumanji.
Oh, right. So,
Premier League heritage today.
Yes.
I can always remember thinking the Tottenham kit is far too big for him.
Yeah. Which club comes to mind when you hear Ruel Fox?
Tottenham for
Tottenham.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Norwich popped in my head, the Panini sticker. But Newcastle as well. A lot of Newcastle fans talking about how good he was.
Give us these clubs.
Norwich, Newcastle, Tottenham. That's me. I don't want to steal the limelight.
West Bromwich Albion?
Yep.
Good one.
Did he retire from West Brom?
Finished at West Brom. Had enough.
Could have gone on longer, but you'll hear about that later.
Yeah. Yeah. Last week's episode, the legend,
Super Kev.
Cardiff legend, Kev McNaughton.
By the way, an Aberdeen legend as well, because there were people have messaged in saying how much they were gutted when he left Aberdeen to go to Cardiff.
Because we've done a few live shows now, haven't we, and had legends or players that are really, associated with a club. But I don't think we've had a response like when we had Kev at Cardiff.
No. And football
absolutely
aside,
love
by the
him.
way, it's good to see him fitting well.
Yeah.
In a good place.
Great episode.
Shall we get on with...
That's enough.
Before we do, whoa, John, premature. We've got to say a massive thank you to our sponsors for the series, O'Neills Sportswear.
There we go.
What kit? The link's in the description if you want to get yourself involved with our kit or O'Neill's. But yes, thank you, Mr. I wonder, is there a Mr. O'Neill?
Well, there's Martin.
Might be a family of them.
How do you spell Ruel?
We should know that, really, shouldn't we?
Oh, R-U-L-E.
Yeah.
R-U-E-L.
You do. I should know that, shouldn't I, really? I wrote it wrong about 5 times in the Twitter post. So here we go, Mr. Ruel Fox. Should we get him
Premier
in?
League heritage. And a fucking great lad, by the way.
Whitton United. Thank you for having us here. I
Not a
believe
problem.
you're chairman of the board.
Well, if you want to call it chairman, I think you caught me mopping up when I got in here, so I think I'm a cleaner as well. Jack of all trades, they say. Jack of all trades. But yeah, this is a club where I started my football. So I was born just round the corner. So I've always had close ties with the club. And over my footballing career, I've always been involved either as ambassador. And then once I stopped playing football, they offered me the chairman's job. I've obviously got a lot of feelings for, so I can't just walk away from a club, even though times are hard at the moment around football, amateur football. But I love the club, so I'll always try and help out. So at the moment, I'm chairman until someone kicks me out.
Are you half hoping you do get kicked out?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying every day.
We might get our first resignation.
I'm trying everything possible, leaving lights on, having after parties, doing all the wrong things. They seem to like me, so until someone else worse than me comes in, I think I'm going to be here for a little while longer.
Have you had to sack many managers?
Yeah, it's part and parcel of it. It's part and parcel of it. It's not a good position to be in because, as you know, when you're on a committee, what I like to call, you get a lot of cheerleaders who are the ones who are initiating the second, but then when it comes to it, it's only me.
I'll take a step back.
Yeah, it's only me.
You tell him, Ruel.
Yeah, you tell him, Ruel. You've been involved. You tell him. You get rid of him. I've never liked the guy. And then all of a sudden, when he's gone, it's like, God, I thought he was all right when he left. Yeah, cheers.
Have you ever managed yourself? Or did they come straight in with a chairman offer?
No, I've managed as well. Yeah, I've done everything. Like I said, I've done every job possible. So when I first retired, because I retired early, I retired 31, 32. So I still could kind of play a little bit. So I ended up helping out a friend of mine called Ian Brown, who was manager at the time. And he just kept nudging me all the time. He said, God, you can still play. Why do you keep telling you can play? And I'm like, I don't know. And then you get out there and obviously the stand is different from you. The ball's flying everywhere, elbows everywhere. So I think I got sent off in my second game for the first time ever. So I thought, no, I don't think this is my level for me. So ended up playing vets football, which is a bit more comfortable. it's for the older guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, I played for a little while. It was interesting. It was good, but it wasn't for me. You know, it wasn't for me playing that sort of standard. No disrespect to that standard, but you know, there's always people out looking out to give you a little jab here or there. You know, leave one on you, so it can get a little bit messy sometimes. So instead of all the attention being on me, I thought I better not play anymore. Play with the vets games. That's a little more easy. You turn up with a fag, you have a pint. Not being bothered. It's like old school for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like you got the night before stories. You go in the change rooms. You know, referee gets tired. You'll stop for 10 minutes. So it's all good.
It's a great story though that you're here as chairman. Because did you get picked up here?
Yeah. Like I said, I got spotted here. I think I first started playing when I was about 9 years old, and then I got spotted playing in a tournament by Ipswich, and then Norwich after that. So I had a choice of going either to Ipswich or Norwich.
Is it right, your mate? Your mate was already signed for Norwich, and he got you a trial.
Yes. I had a guy that lived across the road from me, a guy called Louis Donowa, who was playing before me. So every summer, every school holiday, I'm knocking on his door, give me a trial. I just kept bugging him till in the end, he just threw me in the car and said, come on, you come with me. Took me along. I don't think I actually had an actual trial booked in. He just took me along.
Do you want
said to him, look, can you give him a trial? Do you know what I mean? He keeps bugging me. Ended up having a trial and they want to sign me there and then. So yeah, it's been in the right place at the right time, because at that time I was already trained.
Putting the work in that, just keep pestering.
Yeah, that is.
You put yourself in the right
because
place.
At that time I was already training with Ipswich, so I'd been back and forth with them, and they couldn't quite make their mind up whether they wanted to sign me or not. That went on for about, say, 3 weeks, where they were, saying, "Oh, we're not quite sure. Can you come up for another week?" And then I went to Norwich for one day, and they wanted to sign me, so it was a no-brainer.
So how old were you when you signed up at Norwich?
13. I was 13, so
were you travelling or?
Yeah, it was different them days. You in them days they allowed you still to play for your local club, and then at the weekends it was strange. They had this they had a mixture team when you were 13, and you'd play with the ones who were left over from the youth team, and you'll mix a team again. You played in the Sunday league, but the Sunday league was all grown guys. Like we described, guys who just come out of the pub. Been out on a bender, and they turn up and there's like us little lads there trying to knock the ball about, and they were just hoofing us all over the place. So it was a wake up, and there's a bit of a growing up for you, because instead of nurturing you, which they would do in today's type of football, it was all about no. If you're good enough, you're old enough, you get out there and you play.
Yeah.
So you got kicked all over the place, but I think it stood me in good stead, going forward, because you didn't fear anyone once I got to 16 and I signed my apprenticeship. There was no fear there at all. So it worked well in them days, I think.
So did you move up then at 16?
Yes, I moved up when I was 16, but I still got homesick and I came back. I was travelling back and forth. When I weren't supposed to. I was supposed to be in digs, but I kept coming home.
Yeah.
And how far is it to drive? It's
only about an hour. Yeah, It's only about an hour. I had a car. I did get a car off Norwich as well, but they didn't realise I didn't have a licence. So what I had to do...
Just keep asking.
Yeah. So what I do...
Again, it's like knocking for that trial.
So,
can I have a car?
Yeah. Again, it's that same situation. I was having my apprenticeship. I was only a year into my apprenticeship when I started getting, travelling with the first team. I was 17, travelling and all that. So again, the first team are winding me up. You should be getting a contract. You should get in the car. You got to go knock on his door. So silly bonkers me. I'm knocking on his door. Yeah, is there a car? Can I have a car? They shot me. They said yes. So then I went to the car dealers. We were supposed to buy Peugeot then. Went to the car dealers. They didn't even ask me a license or anything. Showed me a car. I said, well, when do you want to pick it up? I said, next week. So I was driving up and down all the time without a license for about 3-4 years. 3-4 years.
I was thinking maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
No, 3 or 4 years. So I learnt to drive on my own, just going up and down the road.
I could just imagine him at dealership with cargo.
Yeah, just kangarooing down the road. It was for both sides, but I'd go home, I'd park it around the corner, because obviously my mum would go mad if she found out. So
they're not
I told her I had a car, but I just said, I've got a car, but I've had to leave it in Norwich till I passed my test. So I had to leave it round the corner. And then when I went to Norwich, I had to leave the car round the corner at Norwich because obviously the lads knew I didn't have a licence. So I used to turn up all the time with a shoulder bag, pretend I just got off the train and driving up and down till I got caught in the end. Which was funny. So I had to take my test after that. So,
Did you get called by somebody at the club and they said, "Listen, you're gonna take your test"?
I got caught.
Or your mum?
No, yeah, it's like that. As one of my best mates stitched me up. So I was driving up and down all the time. So I ended up, getting a pro contract, so I had a bit of money. So I ended up buying myself another car. And I had a car and a sponsored car. I thought it was a dog's bollocks.
You got two
cars. No licence, 2 cars. So I had a Renault Turbo, I don't know if you remember, like a Renault Turbo, and I had a Peugeot. So I should let my mates just drive it, you got to take it at that. So one day I'm driving back and I can see a policeman behind me, I'm overtaking people and he pulls me over. And I can see he knows who I am in a way because I've just got in the first team and he's going to, he go, "This is your car?" Go for all the stuff. I said, yeah. He go, "You Ruel Fox?" I went, no. It's, I'm his brother. Me and my older brother, Lenny, look alike. So I'm thrown, "I'm Lenny." He said, "No, you're not. No, you're Ruel Fox." I said, "No, I'm not." I said, "I'm Lenny." So he said, "All right, we'll drive back to Ipswich." Called my bluff. So they followed me 20 miles all the way back to Ipswich to my mother's house to identify me. He said, "Look, if they can say that you're your brother Lenny, then we'll let you off. Let you drive off." So I knocked at the neighbour's door. She could see something's up. So she played along with it. "Oh, I can't tell the difference out there, boys, So I'm thinking, great, happy days. Happy days, I've got away with it.
Hi, Mum, it's Len.
Yeah. So I thought, happy days, I got away with that. I went, "There you go." He went, no, one more person. I went, "Well, all my mates are at work, because obviously training, you finish at 12, don't you?" So I'm saying, "Well, all my mates are at work." Well, she said, "There must be someone you know." So I said, "Right, I think I know my mate used to be a fishmonger's, works in town, one of my best mates." So his name's Sean. And he went, "Okay, then we'll drive you to town." So now they've followed me 20 miles home. Didn't believe me, took me another 10 minutes in town. So as we go in town, pulled up, and you're going across a zebra crossing, and he had the fishmonger shop right in the corner right there. So as I'm walking past, I'm behind the policeman just giving it that one, giving all the signals. No, just all that, trying to warn him. Got in there, he opened the door, he said, "Hello, mate." He said, "I just having a inquiry. Do you know this?" He went, "Yes, it's my mate Foxy, Ruel Fox." Handcuffed straight in the car. Thanks, all right.
Slap him with a piece of salmon, you silly bastard.
Go that to me, mate. And he's just standing with his hands out. So that was the end of me driving. I had to get me test before they let me have a car after that.
I mean, I've played with somebody who were driving with no licence, but he only had one car. He didn't fuck about with 2.
I was quite lucky, I know.
How did you find it living in Norwich? Because you, Brownie played at Norwich and you said it was quite insular.
Like a big village, I thought.
Yeah.
Everyone knows each other's business.
Yeah, it's close-knit. It's close-knit. But again, at the time, at the same time, it's a bit of a family community when you're involved in a football club, lads out together. And them days, don't forget, there was a lot of social involved. So it was good times, going out nightclubbing, getting a little bit of trouble here and there, but it wasn't too bad because, again, you had this certain status being a footballer when you're back in them days. So overall, it was good.
Did you know early doors that you were going to, because it was 17, you made your debut. Did you know that the manager liked you and that they were going to push you on?
Yeah, again, it's been in the right place at the right time. And I ended up probably only playing half a season in reserve football at that time when it was called reserve football. And I was just travelling up with the first team most of the time. So, yeah, I knew there was a likening for me, based on the other players who was in my age group. I think there's only me and probably 2 others who actually got pro contracts.
When was it that Ajax came in for you?
That was, I just signed obviously for Norwich, and used to go on the pre-season tournaments and stuff like that. And we played Ajax in a tournament, and the guy from Ajax came up to me after the game, gave me his card. I was oblivious to it. I didn't even know who Ajax were. Do you know what I mean? So he came up to me to give me a card, and the next minute I saw the guy flying. Ronnie Brooks came over, pushed him and said, fucking stay away from my players, blah, blah, blah. So they're having a scrap on a pitch. But I was oblivious. I thought the guy was just being friendly, just, giving a number. Anytime you're in Holland, come and see us. You know what I mean? I thought it was a matey thing, but it worked. Yeah. He was obviously trying to tap me up, which is, again, everyone was open about it in them days, but obviously Ronnie came over and started fighting him. So
you never made the call?
No. He took the card off me.
I wonder if that's worked in your favour though, because they obviously gone back and gone, fuck me, Ajax are after Ruel.
Oh, but you're looking back at it. And like you said, I always feel that everything's for a reason. But when you look back at it, you see the size of Ajax, how famous they are. You never know, because for me, I've not been afraid to go and travel, and even from a young age, I think it's probably come from my mother's side. I'm not afraid to just get up and, travel to Norwich, went to Newcastle on my own. So it's one of them kind of, I would have probably looked at it and spoke to my mum about it if there was some real interest from it. But I don't think it was ever going to happen, because I only just literally aside for Norwich.
So did you enjoy being in and around the first team lads? And I've got Wayne Biggins.
Yeah. I mean, again, in them days, the apprenticeship was quite brutal.
Yeah.
It was quite brutal. I was, again, a little bit lucky, because I'd gone through probably only a year of the apprenticeship when you were assigned to a pro. So you had to look out the pro's kit, smack the boots off and all them kind of things. So I was quite new to that. You had the first team changers, you had the youth team ones. So once I started getting into the first team, they kept me in the youth team change room, so I got a bit of stick off them. And every time I went in there, they just bullied you to hell in there, made you do silly things that, you thought was the right thing to do. So it stitched you up a lot, so there was a lot of trips. I mean, I think my first away trip, I think we might have played Man City. So I'm buzzing they've told me I'm in the squad, and so I phoned my mum and told her, I'm in the squad, blah, blah, blah. The manager told me, he said, you're not going to play, but he said, I just want you get part of the squad, because I've been trained with the first team and everything. So on the way, we're travelling up, I'm making teas and all stuff, doing what you have to do as an apprentice. I was loving it, because I'm just around the boys, On the way back, obviously got the beers out, because in them days, you had crates of beer on. I don't know how we got away with it, by the way. It was just crates of beer. You was either sponsored by Wholesome Beers or something like that, so they always had beers on the way back. The players would just be drinking and drinking. So they obviously start saying, if you want to be part of this club, whatever, you're going to have to drink a can. So they got me drinking cans. So next minute I was drinking Foster's and I felt pukey, went to the toilet, went to sick up, and they locked me in the toilet. Locked me in the toilet for, the trip was got me 4 hours. 4 hours, didn't let me out for 4 hours out there. Puking, claustrophobic, I was travel sick. So when I go out there, you can imagine me tracksuit and everything. Obviously the coach is bumping from side to side. Oh, it weren't the best. So that was my initiation.
Did he take you golfing, Bert?
Yeah. No, he didn't take me golfing. I mean, again, it's another one of them things where you travel away, and there's always a golf trip. There's always an international break or something like that. Lads always, we always kind of socialise together, whether it's going out in the city for a meal or whatever. You had a few of the players who would cross the line, and Bertie Biggers was one of them. He was a he was a picture line crosser. He was there. There was Robert Fleck.
What did he pack for it?
Yeah, Flecky was there then. Yeah, there was some sick people. I'll give you sick people. I'll give you an example where God's sake, I don't know if I can say this. Fuck it. So we got Bertie Biggins. I remember again gone along, a few of the apprentices boys going along. So we're playing a really nice golf course. I can't remember if we was abroad or somewhere, but boiling hot sun. I can remember, we was in charge of the cooler box with all the beers in. So, but we had a buggy, so we were buzzing. Do you know what I mean? Another chance for me to drive again. So we're on a buggy now, driving around, handing out the beers, all that. So then they let us start joining in for the last 6 or 7 holes. So as you're oblivious, you're hitting it. You got your can and said, "Hey, here's your can." Kept handing us cans and drinking it. And then as we got to the last hole, he went, "There you go. We're going to all drink this last, say half a tin or whatever each." So I looked at it straight away. I was thinking that feels a bit warm. Do you know what I mean? We're drinking cold beers, the other lad washing it down, he pissed in a can. The lad had obviously gargled it, washed it all down. But again, there's no HR. Who are you going to go to? You can't complain, can you? You can't complain to anyone. You can't play. Get out there. Just have a breath. Wash your mouth out. What's wrong with you? Also,
a bit of piss.
Yeah, all things like that was just norm. So you couldn't wait to be one of them pros in a way. So you can. I know nowadays you won't get away with it. There was sick things going on. It was mad. It was mad, but it was funny at the same time. When you look back at it now, you think, wow, half of the team would have been put away for the stuff they did.
Look back on it with fondness now.
Yeah. I mean, there was times where we used to meet at the training ground and everyone would get on the coach and obviously you travel up to where you're travelling. I remember one time we get on the coach, everyone's getting ready to sit down. I could hear a group of them all giggling. So the pros must have said, I've done something. You know, does it. So all of a sudden the coach streaks to a halt. I can't remember if it was Dave Stringer was the manager. He said, right, who the fuck's done that? And he kept saying, you know who it is. He wouldn't say who it was. And everyone kept saying, what are you on about? He said, you lot know who the fuck's done that. And then in the end, Flecky put his hand, yeah, it was me, boss. And he went, you dirty fucking, turned around, he'd fucking shit in someone's shoe, an apprentice shoe, and just slid it back in their locker for the apprentices to clear up. Sorry, Flecky, sorry. But yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Probably a Mars bar he put in his shoe or something like that. But it looked like shit. And it smelled like it. So if it looks like it smells like
chocolate, tastes like shit. You're never going to know until you bite into it.
There was just snippets of things that used to go on. Like it was mad. But at the same time, you look back at it, like you said, you kind of cringe, but also you laugh at it because that was a part of you bonding. And that's a part also, so it might sound weird, but as part of you growing up. As part of you growing up, there was a lot of things that got on that you like, some things you don't like. But as you get older, you look back at it, you think, well, that's probably what made you who you are, but especially the growing up side of it. Not trying to make it into anything that it was glamorous because it was far from it. You know, there was racism at Norwich when I was there. I was the only black player playing, even when I was 13. So imagine there that was a little bit, it was a little bit rough, for black players then. So it took a lot of courage, to keep going back there because I love football because the management believed in you. They put their arm around you.
I was going to say, the members of the squad, members of the management staff that really looked after you?
The lad Louis across the road from me, he was a black lad as well. So I used to see it. You go to the first team games and you hear it and you see it. And, it was quite brutal. And then obviously I'm now going into an environment where I'm so excited about playing for Norwich, and that went on to where I was playing sometimes on a Sunday. Never forget, I'm only 13, 14, and my brother was taking me up.
Free driver.
Yeah, just about.
Didn't have a license.
Yeah, I think he had a license anyway. But he used to get paid by Norwich to drive me. So he used to love it. He used to get obviously subs to drive me up. So he used to drive me up all the time. And then things would go on in the game, they'd be saying, get that black so-and-so, go to pick him up and all that, because they're grown lads, And if you take the piss out of them, that's the only defence they've got. So it was allowed back in the day. And sometimes I used to hear it and I used to just ignore it, just get on with my game. Of course you'd react sometimes. But the majority of the time I turn around, my brother's got someone around the throat. So he got told not to come to the games because every time there was an incident like that, obviously he's going to protect his little brother. So he used to be on the pitch, threatening people and taking them out. But you get to a stage where you realise that there's no support out there. And because, again, like we're going back to how brutal it was like, just get on with it. Just get on with it. So you have a choice. You either get on with the game that you love, or you say, "Oh no, it's not for me. I don't like people calling me names and stuff," and or abuse you, and you move out. Don't forget, you got your own players who are going to stick up for you. You've got family or friends who are going to stick up for you, but it doesn't make it right. But then at the same time, you have to accept it was part and parcel of it. Unfortunately,
it's a shame that. Yeah, like you have to take that approach at that time. Thankfully, education seems to have stepped in a bit more now, doesn't it?
I mean, it goes on now. It was the same reason. Once you get a bit mature to it, and you start learn how to deal with it, and by just playing and as soon as you score a goal, they'll shut up, or if you do something well, they'll stop giving you a stick. But you're gonna hear it. You just got to find a way of trying to dulling it out.
Look it out.
You know, I can remember Millwall back in the game. That was probably one of the worst ones. They had a place used to call the Chicken Run down there, and it was just a fence right next to the dugout. So you'd have to warm up right past them. So I remember a couple of times the manager go, right, Foxy, warm up. So I'm looking out there, I'm stepping outside the dugout, but I'm not actually going down. I'm just going around the side of the dugout and I'm just stretching and I'm running up and down like that, coming back with a sweat, and he's giving it, you warmed up? I said, yeah, I'm warmed up. And then he kept saying, go down, have another warm up. And I just go around the side of the dugout, stand there doing high knees again, hoping he don't see me, because going down there was brutal. And that was just half a length of the pitch, because obviously all the fans would abuse you and stuff. But you know, that was like that. It was the same up north, same, what you say, Sunderland, Newcastle. And I ended up signing for Newcastle. So it goes round in circles, doesn't it?
So you were in and out under Stringer. Was the best thing that happened to you Mike Walker getting the job, being your youth team?
Yeah, definitely. Because, it's like you're playing for the first team, the one you always go and moan to or whatever is always the assistant or the reserve guy you're playing for. So he had a lot of faith in me, Mike Walker. From, sometimes I'd have to drop down and play a few reserve games, and he always encouraged me to keep playing. And, he's another guy who's in the right place at the right time for me. I've been quite fortunate in my career. I've always had someone who I could look up to who could support me, and Mike Walker was definitely that person.
Who else was in that team at that time? Because I've got here Sutton, Bowen, Sherwood, Townsend. Were they there?
Yeah.
When Walker took over?
Yeah. We had quite a really decent guy. Then obviously we signed Robert Fleck, who was our striker. We had that. I think that team at the time was a decent team we had there. Andy Townsend, I think, then signed later on.
I mean, you forget. Well, I do anyway. But you finished third that year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Norwich.
It's crazy. It was like that
on the cusp. I mean, were you 8 points clear at Christmas?
Yeah. I think it was one of them things. It's a bit like a Leicester situation.
Yeah.
We went out there. A strange thing about it, I don't probably don't do it now. They get loads of money. They ain't worry about bonuses. But in our day, we worry about the bonuses. We was always saying, you get your wages, and then we used to get a bonus. It was like, I can't remember who it was, 150 a win. Then it would, every time you won an extra game, it kept going up. So the senior lads went in to negotiate and said, right, every year you negotiate, if you ever won the cup, what bonus you would get and stuff. So they stupidly said to us, right, not thinking we're going to get near it. If you're in the top 5, you get £500 every week you're in there. Then you get your win bonus of something like 250. So some of the players would get more bonus than their wages. So we stand in the top 3. The chairman was pulling his hair out because he obviously didn't think we'd ever get there. So imagine him. He kept, as the first one I said, the chairman kept coming to the change rooms. He kept coming in, just, you all right? You sure? Do you need a rest or anything like that? just worried, because we obviously went on a fantastic run. Obviously, we blew up. We knew we never, the strange thing about it, we never really took it as seriously as we should have done. Because, it's like you're on that road, because you kind of, in the back of your mind, you kind of think, this ain't going to last.
Yeah.
But it kept going. So, like I said, it was a surprise to us, as it was to everyone else. But when you look back at it, you kind of think, if we'd invested and maybe, strengthened the team, but we're Norwich City at the time. We weren't even supposed to be nowhere near there. So,
I bet you had a good Christmas over, but didn't they?
Oh, God's sake, yeah. That's the thing, wasn't it? That's why we blew up after Christmas. We carried on partying. It's not like we were being professional either. We were still doing all the same things that we always do. Away games, we were sneaking out the hotel.
Fridays?
Yeah, we was to sneak out. They told us it's tradition, so we just took it on from a Norwich player. All the time. Now and again, we'd always pop out or bring a few beers in the room and stay up late. It was never, don't forget.
The whole squad? Like,
was there a group here? There was a group of us, but like I said, there was, because very quickly I became one of the top players and, one around the senior lads. So it was, everyone seemed to be doing it.
Are we talking like 2 or 3 pints or 5 or 6?
2 or 6. Probably a few pints. There was a few pints, maybe some more than the others. But then the manager would be down there, Mike would be down there, he'd have a few pints on a Friday. So it was again.
He's not got to play though, Ruel.
No.
We had some
of our best performances like that.
I was going to ask about you because you had a few moves that season. You know, your celebration.
Yeah.
Sounds like you were still pissed.
Yeah, we were still pissed off. We had some of our best results. I think we beat Leeds 4-2. I think that might have beginning. That was the beginning of that season because I think Leeds had won the title the season before that, so they were buzzing. And I think we went there and beat them 4-2, something like that.
You had a good night round Leeds.
Yeah, we was up till 2 a.m. playing cards and drinking. It's just like how it was, wasn't it? You wouldn't have the sports scientists in now. It's probably why our careers cut short because you didn't really look after yourself, did you? But like you said, it was just that mischievous side of us, what we like to do, you know, getting a bit of trouble here and there. But the manager, I think he knew, but obviously if the results are going well, you know.
That's the thing for the manager, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're winning.
Yeah, there's not they can say, is there?
Sounds like it was good crack playing for Norwich. And
But he trust you though. You think he could trust you? You know, it weren't going to be 4 and 5 o'clock.
No, exactly. No, you didn't take liberties with it because obviously I know I'm saying it sounds like we was doing it every weekend. It's not every weekend, you know, because you got the players, the senior players who were there would pull you in on it. So it was a case, even the senior players would, you know, there's a line you go across, you know what I mean? So the only tradition we had was, I think it was the last away game. We had this mission thing where you had to try and get out the hotel, go into the town centre, have a beer, and get back before anyone noticed you. So that was another thing we've done. I thought it's normal. Is that not normal? It's normal.
I never did that.
It depends what you're playing and how far away
so
you're
again,
staying.
little things like that, you know, it's just a bit of fun. You have to get to the pub.
So every
The last away game of the season, away game. So it wasn't every game, the last away game. But the other away games, it was just a case of, you know, you take a couple of cans in the room and it's crazy. But at the same time, it was like that, you know.
And the next year you're playing at Bayern Munich, Inter Milan,
yeah.
UEFA Cup.
Before you know it, Bayern Munich.
Did you have a good night in Germany the night before?
They wouldn't let us out there. They don't know what's out there.
He hasn't bought a pint yet, has he, Gossy?
No. He's still living off it. Good lad, Gossy. For someone like him, again, he'd gone until Mike came again, so he'd probably say the same thing. Mike was a blessing because I think he was a lot older. He was probably 6 years older than us. So he was literally, that was his kind of last few seasons, at where he hit his peak. And he hit it at the right time, but he only hit it because Mike gave him the opportunity because he probably wouldn't have played.
Trusting him.
Yeah. So, you know, and he just scored some vital goals for us at vital times, you know. So he's a bit of a cult hero at Norwich, and rightly so.
Yeah.
I was thinking on the way down here, where was your head at in terms of it getting an England call up at that time? Because I put you and Kevin Campbell in the same thingy of how didn't you get an England cap?
No,
surely
it was. I think again, not making an excuse. I think it was Norwich just being at Norwich. You know, the status of being, even though it's a city, it's still regarded as a small club. So I don't think I ever got a kind of initial feeling that I was going to get called up until I got to Newcastle.
Were you ready for a move?
No, I wasn't actually. No, I mean, we did get to that crossroads where I questioned the club. I think it might have been after we had that European run, because again, you kind of notice things that are going on. And I thought to myself, well, we got this squad of players really good, but after that, we didn't really have nothing else. We had some young lads, Andy Johnson, Jamie Kerr coming through, Darren Eady. We had some young lads who were coming through, but we're talking about, you know, experience as well coming through. We had a lot of players who were getting to the 30s. So I questioned it one time, you know, saying I think, you know, we should grow the squad. And then I think straight after I said that, about a month or so later, he sold Chris Sutton, who was you know, my pal, and I really, you know, we had a good connection on the pitch. We were scoring goals, we were playing well, and I just thought that when that happened, that's the only time I started thinking, well, maybe
look after yourself.
Yeah, and then and while I was thinking about it, then I think it happened a few weeks later.
Any more on Fleck? Because I've heard, is it him and Malcolm Allen, the two sickest men you've...
Yeah, Malcolm Allen, definitely. Oh, do you want to hear about this one?
Oh, we do.
It's all to do with body waste. It's all to do with body waste. It's all to do with body waste. Malcolm was just funny. Another cat, Malcolm was just funny. He would do weird things. I mean, we signed him. I've been with him twice. I keep bumping into him. It's like they're following me everywhere. It's like I was with him at Norwich. We signed him from Watford, and then I went to Newcastle. And he was already he'd just gone to Newcastle when I went there. So when I knew about Norwich, great player, technically great player. Just weird things. Again, we had the sponsored cars. So after training, we used to go to the city, have something to eat, and a few beers after training. So it used to be a race. Everyone's racing around each other, trying to get to the town quickly. All of a sudden, we're all trying to get to the venue we're trying to get to. We stop. It's traffic of cars. Everyone's bibbing their horns. Fuck's going on here? I'm talking about a tailback where the road's usually clear. So we'll get in our car. As we're all walking up there, Malcolm's stopped the car deliberately, put the bonnet up, and he's pretending that the car's broke down. But what he's doing, he's causing a tailback all the way near past 2 miles tailback. As we then all run to go to him to get his car, jumped in the car and just drove off. Drove off, yeah. He just wanted to get a congestion so he could win. and that's just he'd do something like that every day. Every day.
He's petty, isn't he? I've got a bit of time for that though.
Yeah. He's brilliant at it. He's brilliant. You couldn't put any clothes anywhere or anything, they'd be gone. Do you hang your stuff up, they'd be gone. Within 2 minutes, he'd have your jeans on, and he's running on the pitch, sliding in your jeans or something like that. A bit like the Wimbledon boys, you know what I mean? Yeah. He was crazy, but then he had these other side, the sick side.
Anything goes on here,
I don't want to get me trouble. Put it this way: we used to go to the toilet, and he had a party trick where he used to pee in the air. And it had to go somewhere when it's going in the air. Put it this way. Use your imagination.
I'm thinking he's pissing in his own mouth here.
There you go. Yeah,
sick.
Allegedly. You got it, lad. Allegedly. In what? Allegedly. Remember?
I just had a flashback then. I once bought a Norwich shirt. I once had a Norwich shirt.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good kit. Got a lot of stick,
Yeah.
but
Yellow with like a green.
Yeah. Flexing them, yeah.
Might have been after that European. I think I were a Norwich fan for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think I was on second team for a little bit. But yeah, the European run was brilliant. It was brilliant. I mean, like you said, they still talk about it now. Mm-hmm. And it's nice. It's nice, that they still remember it and stuff.
When were there other clubs interested or other options when you went to Newcastle?
Nothing was concrete. They were talking about Arsenal, they were talking about Man United, but nothing was. I was going, don't forget, in them days, you wouldn't be getting no phone calls off agents. You just read it in the Sun. Yeah. It'd just be a little clip in there, wouldn't it? A little paragraph saying they might be interested. So, yeah, the only ones who were concrete at that time were Newcastle. So, and
probably the most exciting team in the country, though, at that time.
Yeah, and they were getting a lot of publicity.
And they're sponsored by Newcastle Brown. You won't forget. So
they were getting a lot of publicity because of the. Keegan going back there, being an ex-player, Peter Beardsley being there, Arthur Cox. So they had a lot of publicity around it, and obviously you kind of had your eye on them because of what they achieved the first season in the Premier.
Yeah.
So then when he came in for me, it was one of them ones where I was just driving the train, and you don't get no hints. I never had agents, so you never got an agent said, look, I think this club's interested. I was driving the train, and chairman phoned me up and said, would you want to pop in and have a chat? And I thought, chat about what? At that time, I was going to training. Got into his office, and he obviously then said about Newcastle. But then he said, oh, well, we don't want you to go. We're going to offer you a new deal. And I thought, well, not being big at the time, I was the highest paid player at the club.
So they'd looked after you with contracts at
Norwich?
Yeah,
because obviously with the European thing and everything, I signed new deals, and I was the highest paid player there. Me, probably, and 3 others. So I knew I was a high paid player. So for me, I knew they weren't going to give me much more money than they'd give me anyway. So I knew something was up. So he said to me, we want to offer you a new deal, but Newcastle to come in. So if you want to go talk to him, we'll allow you to talk to him. I thought, well, if they want me to stay, they wouldn't even mention the Newcastle thing. Yeah. So it's the kind of thing that he's being a bit shady about it. So I just said, look, I didn't know nothing about Newcastle, but like I said back in the conversation when I said, I didn't like going there because the crowd very hostile at the time. So I was like, I don't want to be going to that bloody cold place. It's miles away. But then obviously knew Andy Cole was there, and, who had just started kicking his career.
Yeah.
So if the Norwich would have said no, they've made an offer for you, but you're not talking to them, would you have kicked off?
No, not really, because again, like I said, I was happy at Norwich. I was comfortable. Like I said to you, I'm comfortable being around my family and friends. So I never thought that a team like that would be interested, because I was just focusing on my Norwich career. So when he did make the offer, I was a bit surprised, but then obviously hearing it's Kevin Keegan, of course you're interested, you want to at least have a conversation. So within 10 minutes of me leaving the chairman's office, Keegan's on the phone to me, phoned me straight away. As soon as I go out there, saying, we want you to come up now. So I didn't even get to training. I turned straight round because the chairman told me he said, keep it quiet. We'll say you're ill. Just go and talk to him, come back, and then make your mind up whether you're going to sign for him. But I got up there. Before I got up there, the chairman already leaked it out to Norwich that I asked to leave. So you understand.
So that's the writing on the wall, though. Then you can't come back.
So I'm never going to go back then. So never going to go back there. It's not the best way to end, but when I look back at it, I can see that he's made money off a player that cost him nothing. But at the same time, he should have done it the right way. I think he just wanted to save face with the fans.
Yeah, he's covering his own back.
Yeah, so he's covering his own back, because if it looks like I asked for a move, then it don't look so bad. But that was far from the truth.
So what was the conversation like with Keegan when you got up there? Did he sell it you?
He's just
I'd love it if you signed.
Yeah. He was just like a salesman. It went really. It just went easy. By the time I got to the airport, there was loads of fans there, so he'd obviously leaked it out just to try and make it a bigger thing than it is. Scarves around my neck. I thought, Jesus, what's going on here? I think they got the wrong
Just go
player.
up and have a quiet word.
Yeah. So that was nice. You get treated really well. Got to the hotel. Spoke to him for a little while. He sold the club, told me about the players he's bringing in, everything. I said, you interested? I said, yeah, I'm interested in signing. He went, right, that's it. Walked out the hotel room. I said, I'll be back. I'm going to go to the club. We're going to draw up the contract, and then the security guy would take you to the ground to get signed. I didn't have an agent at the time. Didn't have no agents on my own. Apart from some guy kept phoning me up and saying he wanted to do it, but I didn't really have any proper agent. So I'm in the hotel room. Went to go out, try and go out the door. The door's locked. He's locked me in the room. Wouldn't let me get out the room. So the security guy was outside. I had to keep knocking out to be able to go out the room, because he was worried. Because I think at the time, again, there was I can't remember which club it was. I don't know if it was Bolton again, were interested. So he didn't want me to go and make a phone call. So he put security at the door and locked me in the room.
I'm just imagining, can you let me out?
Yeah,
and then just a contract coming under the door.
Yeah, just locked me out the room.
Sign it and you're out.
Took me to the football club. The agent then turned up, because these agents were a bit snaky at the time, because he'd heard about it from another Newcastle, and then come on and kept trying to encourage me to sign up with him so he could do me a good deal. And Keegan just said to him straight away, he said, look, you don't need the agent. Kick the agent out. Talked me through every contract, told me what every player was on, and said, we want you to sign now. So I signed. I didn't even go home. Didn't go home. So from that day, I was only supposed to go up and talk. He wouldn't let me go home, so I ended up just living in a hotel. So I had to keep getting my gear. Yeah, I was like a prisoner. When I look back, I was kidnapped, wasn't it?
Were you single at the time?
No. So I had been missing
Kidnapped for a year in Newcastle.
It wouldn't let me leave.
Do you remember the phone call to your missus?
Yeah. I said, well, I'm here. You're gonna have to send some gear up, because he wanted me to. Because I think I signed during the week, and I think they had a game. I wasn't eligible for. I think they might have Luton in a cup, so he wanted me to travel with him. But I said, I need to go home though. And he said, no, that's right. We'll send someone to go get your gear. So Mrs. was like saying the same thing. Why can't you just come over and get it?
No. We have your husband here.
We've got your husband here. Send 3 pairs of jeans, 2 jackets.
And was the contract a lot better than the one at Norwich?
Yeah. It was double what I was going to get. It was a lot more. It was a lot more. So with that, it was still again that initial thing. He sold the club, but he sold it well. It's not a case of him just saying, right, this is what we want you to do. He talked you through where you would be playing, how important you would be, in explaining the tactics to you. And then the most of all, he talked about the passion of Newcastle fans. He talked about the racism to me. He's the only one who's ever come out and said that, which was great for me. He said, look, there hasn't been many black successful players who have came here. He said, but we're going to change that perception. He said, you obviously got Andy here. If you're here, it's just going to open it all up. And he was right. You know, I mean, you don't realise how you touch people away from the football, you know, because you're in football, you're in this bubble. Excuse me. But outside of that, you don't realise there's a lot of things going on for Asian communities and all that, getting bullied and racism and all that. So I was getting letters every week saying, thanks for coming since you've come. You know, we've been out to walk the streets. People know, you know, because it weren't the fans' fault. I think it's education, like you were saying before.
I suppose it must have been a big thing for like Kevin Keegan to have a conversation about it rather than just because it's so easy, I imagine, to just sweep it under the rug and just pretend it's not happening.
No, so, like you said, like reflecting back with that noise, it would be easy for it to just, just get on with it. Yeah. You know, you're at a big club now, blah, 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 just get on with it. But no, he explained it. And he said he'll support.
Positive move in the right direction.
Yeah. So again, it was another positive person in my life. So, you know, it was, like you said, it was a no-brainer. Once I saw that's what made me just decide, right, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was genius, really, because did he come out and say you were the best player in your position in the country? That must have just made you feel 10 foot tall, even if he didn't meet you.
He lied a lot. He lied a lot. That's why he was
full
great.
of shit, that Keegan.
Yeah.
Full of shit.
It worked though. Every player.
He's the best player I've ever abducted.
Yeah. You interview every Newcastle player and say, he said that to me. But he makes you believe it.
Thing is, back then, the way Newcastle were going, it wasn't a ridiculous thing for him to say, we're going to win the Premier League. You know,
no, he believed it. He actually he did believe what he said. I said he's a convincing salesman. It's brilliant. But what he did, he used to ask a player. He used to have input players to say to a player, "Who was your most difficult opponent?" So at the time, I've had a couple of good games against John Berison, the left back at Newcastle. So it was funny, John, who helped me get the move there because John was saying, every time I've played against obviously Ruel Fox, I've had a difficult game.
Right.
So that's why he said that he come in for me. So he done it with every player. He'd ask you who was your most difficult opponent, but in the meantime, you don't really. He's used that information to go and get that player.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of the players he got at Newcastle were recommendations from players, which is quite strange because you usually rely on your scouts, don't you?
But probably a really good idea. Yeah, like, was the hardest centre half you played against? Oh, we'll go and get him.
Yeah. So it's a good idea, really. You think it in their words.
Quick drinks break, gents, to talk about our favourite VPN service, NordVPN.
have we been watching out?
No, I've not actually. I've not had time. I'm busy, but I have got a couple of lads on it because they're going to Benidorm for Cheltenham.
Right. Oh, there whilst Cheltenham's on.
They're well Cheltenham, so they'll be able to watch.
Bounce the location
back, and they're about to do whatever they need to do while they're in Benidorm.
Yes.
Say no more, John.
I like it. Because if you don't already know what NordVPN is, like John's just said, you can bounce your location from anywhere in the world and bounce your location from the UK to over 111 different locations across the world, I believe now. So that it appears like you're there. You can watch your sports while you're abroad or watch sports that are going on in other countries.
I think the first question that springs to my mind, is the security still watertight?
Oh, tighter than ever. Because it's not just about bouncing your location, it's about keeping your bank details, your passwords, everything under lock and key.
Do we have an offer?
Do we have an offer? Yes. Of course we do. 30-day money-back guarantee, plus, here's the big one, 4 months free as part of your subscription.
That's a third of the year.
Where do they need to go?
Absolutely free. All you've got to do is go to www.nordvpn.com/kosh, or you can follow the link in the description.
Of a bash.
Straight in the team. Obviously, I think 14 games that season after signing in February, 2 goals. You feel the fans behind you straight away.
It's brilliant. I mean, you see the fans now. I mean, the fans are unbelievable. So it's been exactly the same stepping stone. I've gone from a family club at Norwich and then gone to an even bigger one at Newcastle. You know, it was like Norwich times 10. You know, and that's not a disrespect to Norwich. Norwich was fantastic. You know, like I've explained before. You know, they accepted you. They're a really good family club at Newcastle. The same thing you explained earlier. There's no one. Obviously, you got Sunderland, but in Newcastle, it's just black and white. Yeah. That's all it is. It's just all Newcastle, and they're fanatical. You know, every time you'd go out, you don't buy a drink. I think the first day I went down for my initiation, which is take you out for a drink, it's like they got a place called a Big Market. It's just all pubs and pubs. It's like being abroad. I was getting carried from pub to pub, just getting a drink. And they're brilliant people. That's what I mean. They just love their players. And so it just makes you want to play.
I'm going to say, looking at this, you went from a lunatics at Norwich and you've got into a pretty heavy drinking squad here. Lee Clark, Steve Watson, Steve Howe.
Yeah, Robbie had it, all local lads, and knew all the pubs and all the local haunts, so they say. So they were assigned as my bodyguard, so to say. So not too good. Not too good. Yeah, you got the heaviest drinkers, the local lads who know all the places. They used to come to the hotel every night, just to show me around the city. But obviously, the only thing around the city is pubs and nightclubs. So most nights we'd be drinking. But again, it was part of the social side of it. And Keegan encouraged us to, after training, sometimes the fine kit gives us that, say go in town, have a bite to eat, and have yourself a drink. He went over the top a lot, But
did you play up front with Andy Cole for a lot of the time?
It looked like I was, but I was playing on the right. I had a good connection with him. It was me, Andy Cole, left winger called Scott Sellers, really good winger, Scott Sellers, and then you had Peter Beardsley just behind Andy Cole.
So it was almost like a front four.
Yeah. We just go wherever we want.
Mm.
So yeah, there was some movement in that team. It was really good, really good.
So I've got you're one of only 3 Newcastle players to have 10 Premier League goals and 10 Premier League assists in the same season. Did you know that?
No.
You, Anthony Gordon, and Andy Cole.
Oh, that's not bad, then, is it?
It's a good start, that.
Good company.
I might get that on my T-shirt. Get it written on my T-shirt. Yeah, like I said, the Newcastle team, when I first went there, was unbelievable. It was just attacking. Keegan, I can't remember any time us going to the change rooms and we're playing a team and Keegan's got, everybody's got a tactic board up and they'll say, look, this is their danger, blah, 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 set pieces. Never had one. Never had one when I was there. He just always says, just go out there and play, you'll win.
That was literally they score 3, we'll score 4.
Yeah, that was his team talk. Nothing about worrying about their set pieces or dangerous players. He just always pushed it to us, said, if you lot play to your potential, you'll win. It's easy.
Do you think it was kind of his downfall in a little way that he didn't have a plan B?
Yeah, definitely. Because the better you got, the more teams were looking at you and trying to find ways to beat you. Mm-hmm. So I think after I left, he had Derek Fasackley was his coach, and I think they were more tactically aware, but it was all still the emphasis on attack. Mm. We still had centre halves, Philip Albert dribbling from centre half right to up front and scoring goals. Everyone was attack minded. We rarely had a player who just wanted to sit.
You must have relished that.
Oh, that was great. It was great. It was great, but it weren't for the ones who were sitting back there. I think we had Paul Bracewell, who was getting on a bit. He was just seeing people just running past him all the time. Get back! Yeah, get back! Where the fuck are you going? What are you doing? So at the time, I think that was him. Darren Peacock were probably the ones who didn't attack. And Darren was saying the same thing. Darren Peacock was saying the same thing. They come in half time, and he was saying to Phil, "Stop fucking running up the pitch. You're the guy to come back." But they didn't know. Keegan would just allow you. He just said, "Look, like you were saying," he just said, "We'll score more than them." So a lot of our games were like, just full of goals all the time. So for an attacker, it was unbelievable. I loved it. It was unbelievable, Never asked to run back. But for the fullbacks, it was a nightmare.
If you can think back to, when Sir John Hall started chucking loads of money at it,
yeah.
Where were you at in terms of your mindset of these players are coming to play with me and join me? Yeah. Or was there a bit of you like, fuck me, I might get left behind here? Bear in mind you've done well.
Yeah. Like you said, I was playing well enough that I was confident. I never even thought about it. I was happy to stay there for as long as they want me there. So it's a surprise. I knew they're throwing money. I knew they're, obviously when Andy Cole left, they got Keith Gillespie. But I still was confident because the season before that, like I said, I 10 goals, 10 assists. I was playing well. But then you just get an inkling that there's a bit of movement. And maybe, don't forget, it was to do with finances. They bought me for, I think, 2.2. They got offered double within a year. So for business for them, and they were looking to bring, I think, Asprilla in. So so it's not a bad replacement, is it? You got him and Ginola. But Ginola just was there just when I was there. So it was me playing 1 week, Ginola playing 1 week, Gillespie playing. But again, in them days, you didn't look at it as rotating. I look at it personal, think, well, hold on a minute, I've had a great season.
Yeah,
frustrating. That's the first time I've had that kind of feeling where before I've told you, I've had managers always put their arm around me, told me everything, and been up front. Where Keegan kind of went quiet a little bit, which is strange.
We've had Ned Kelly on, and he said that because he was top goal scorer
season before,
and then Keegan just let him go.
Ruthless.
And it just seems like he just makes his mind up.
Yeah.
And that's it, no matter how well you've done. If he sees a different
and like you said, if there's something
in.
that's gone on where you kind of fell out over something and that, you can understand, where you don't agree on certain ways you plan and you're not happy, he's not happy the way you're playing or vice versa, then you understand it. But he would come out with these things now and again, and it's for the better of the team, but there was just no explanation or a choice of you saying, if he'd have said to me at that time, he said, look, it's out of you three, you just knuckle down. It was a no-brainer for me because I was that confident and playing that well that I knew that I would probably be ahead of all them two. I knew I could. I knew my own ability. I know when I'm playing well, and I was probably at my peak then because I'd got called up for England a couple of times, England B as well. So I knew
on the cusp.
Yeah, I was on the cusp. And then all of a sudden I'm on the bench, and I thought, well done. There's been a shift here.
You think he didn't like confrontation? Is that why he wouldn't have the conversation with? I've not heard any stories of him having any sort of confrontation with any player. I think it's just a case of, again, when he's, like you were saying, when he's ready to move on, he has it in his head. He can see how the team's going to go. Excuse me, and he'll just make that change. And it's a strange one because, like you said, up until then, everything I've known about has all been about conversation, keep you in a loop and understand, letting you know. But this one went a bit funny. Where I want to be in a team. If it had said to me, look, just knuckle down, you're going to be your part of this team. The conversation you want to hear, but
or just the conversation the other way.
And at the time, that's when agents were more relevant, and you could hear. And agents were phoning me up and telling me that Tottenham had been making bids. So I kind of thought, oh, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Before it happens, I needed to get ahead of it. So I just went to sort and said, well, if Tottenham are in for me, you're going to let me go, then let's let me go, even though I didn't want to. But then he, obviously in my head, I'm thinking another big club, closer to home. Even though I didn't want to leave Newcastle, I kind of understood, but by the time you make your first move, someone always told me, when you make your first move, it's easy then to make another move.
Yeah.
It's that first move. If you ain't moved before, it's always daunting because you're a bit worried.
Had your wife and kids moved up since you got kidnapped?
Yeah, so So they come up with the bail money, come up and got there. And by the time they were straight to Vallet, by the time they got there, I'd got back to Tottenham.
Yeah.
So by the time we got settled, got back to Tottenham, and obviously she was happy because obviously we moved back here because it was only Chigwell, it was only an hour and quarter drive to get to London from here, hour and a half.
There's a lot of positives, I think, moving.
Yeah, so I believe everything happens for a reason. Things in my career have happened for a reason. I've been very fortunate that I've had the right people in the right place every time I've made a step, And even though like you said, you can't look back and have regrets. It's not so much a regret. I just wish that the top thing didn't come in that early. I'd rather had another couple of seasons
with Newcastle.
And see where it took me.
You must have thought though that when you first saw Ginola take his shit off in the thing, you must have thought, I might be in trouble.
As soon as he got in the showers, there's no hope.
I bet he's incredible for
lockdown. His hair out. He was sponsored by L'Oreal, whatever it's called, the shampoo. Oh, he's a good-looking son, isn't he? But I tell you what, on a serious note, what a great guy. Yeah. Like, fitted in with the lads, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you get perception about foreign people coming in, they don't understand the culture, drinking and stuff. Newcastle's a lively place. He settled right away, and he was definitely, again, when we have our reviews, he will always make an effort to come back. He'll always come back and see the players and, support what things are going on. So, yeah, nothing but good things to say. Even though kind of pissed me off because everywhere I went, he went. So, I could not forget, even that was him, Keith Gillespie there. So the original wingers, that was me and Scott Sellers, hold down the place. Then Ginola comes. So Scott Sellers and myself were fighting over a spot. But, in the end, I guarantee my spot. Then Keith Gillespie comes in. So then, obviously, with the move going, I said, right, that's all right. I'll go to Tottenham. A couple of years later, Girona comes to Tottenham. So what are you doing?
Fuck off.
Yeah, piss off.
Fuck off, you good-looking bastard.
You good-looking bastard.
Do you think pound for pound he's the best wingman in football?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, balance, strength, everything.
He's on about fucking nicking birds on a night
Yeah, same thing. Balance. Lots of balance at the bar.
He can hold that,
dip his shoulder.
one on each arm. He can hold that bird there.
Dipping his shoulder. Step overs. I never saw none of that, thankfully. He's a very private guy. But yeah.
I can't imagine him sat with a bottle of Nuki Brown, though.
No.
I can imagine him with a nice
He'd
red.
go have a few beers. He was good like that.
So I hope this is true, but I got told to ask you, did you set up a bit of a side hustle at Tottenham, selling porn DVDs to the youth team?
Yeah.
See, that you can do that when you're a pro. You can fucking get...
Ask me where I got it from. Oh, yes, yeah. It just accidentally fell on my lap one time. It's an opportunity for me mates from here. I'm playing my mate from Whitton, playing mate from here. He was getting them hooky ones, DVDs. Them guys who come in with the DVDs, he was getting them. And he asked me to sell them sometime. And I kept saying, yeah, I'll try and get rid of it. And then all of a sudden, I was like, can you get 10 more? Can you get 10 more, 20 more?
Ruel's doing another run to Whitton for some porn.
Before I knew, yeah.
Selling more than fucking David Gold.
Before I knew I had a boot full of porn. What that look like? A dealer going up and down the A12. There's loads of it.
Here he is, dirty Ruel's back.
Funny thing was as well, it was like... they were just transferred from VHS to DVDs, so it was
good
a bit
stuff.
Yeah. So I still had the old VHS ones left over. So we just gone through all these managers at Tottenham. George Graham comes in straight away. I know I'm not his type of player. I can tell. Joe, you can tell straight away.
I thought you were going to say I could see we're a VHS man.
There's coming soon. So I'm in the team. He's leaving me out. I'm fucking pissed off. So I'm starting to be a rebel. I fucking turn up training late and I lost my head for a while. First of all, I lost my head. I was fuck this club. I've been playing with these lot. So we used to have a team meeting. That's when we had the first bit of the training ground built when they gave you lockers and all that. Because at the time, we used to just be in a smelly place, old changing rooms and all that, fags on the floor and stuff like that, nothing glamorous. And we started to have a nice training area and everything. So he had a little video room. So he's just, don't forget, I've come from Keegan there. All of a sudden, he's getting VHS and saying, look, I want you to watch this game back. But obviously not DVDs. He's got his assistant pressing the rewind button. It's going too far. He's having to keep skipping it. And we're sitting there and it's going all blurry. And you're sitting there thinking, fucking hell, just tell us. Just tell us what you want us to know. So with that, I've got fucking these DVDs in my thing. So straight away, my mind's fucking going fucking way ahead. I think, oh, fuck him. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I used to see the assistant go in there and set it all up, and he used to pause it on the right part. So I fucking took the VH, put the porn in there, just on the money shot. So it's on there.
Got it to the right part.
Right part, right money shot. So as it's gone in there, he's like, right, everyone sit down, and he's pointing at people. Right, you. This is why we're losing games. You fucking hell, Joe. He's telling her, he said, press a button. Pressed it. Fucking phones come on. Money shot. He's fucking, he's doing all that. Fucking lads are in fucking stitches. I'm getting high fives. All in the back, pissing myself. And to be fair, he said, if you, he actually laughed, to be fair, and he said, if you lot could turn me on like that, then I'll be happy. And then walked out. Fucking brilliant.
I wouldn't have thought he had it in his locker. No,
nor did I. He did. After that, put it this way, after that, I didn't get another meeting, so I must have got grassed up. That was it for me after that. Back to selling out my boot.
Went for a run yesterday in my O'Neills shirt.
Did you get many
Beeps, whistles, beeps, whitwoos,
wolf
honking.
Whistles or
wolf whistle.
No.
Chris, you're an attractive 40-year-old man.
I don't think it's me. I think it's the shirt.
Makes sense.
Well, we have to say a massive thank you to O'Neills Sportswear for sponsoring not just the episode, but the entire series once again.
Custom-made kits, 4 to 6 weeks, designed to deliver.
If you've got a team, whether that's 11 aside, 5 aside, 8 aside, 6 aside, all the sides.
Minimum of 12.
Yep.
maximum of... Well, there is no maximum.
No.
They will clothe the whole of England if you order them.
The main selling point for me, though, is the quality of the kit. You know, you just, for the price, for the numbers that you're getting, for how quick you get it, designing your own kit, putting your own touch on it, you can, like we said before, I think you 1-0 up before you've even kicked off.
Disagree with us if you want, but I wouldn't hesitate in wearing that down the pub with a pair of jeans. Or playing five-a-side.
Or running down Charlie Road.
Very quickly.
So all you've got to do is follow the link in the description, or you can go to O'Neillssportswear.com.
That is very good gear, by the way. It's probably the best that we've put his name to.
Unbelievable quality. Unbelievable quality.
So you said obviously you didn't like the hustle and bustle. Did you fit in at Tottenham?
Tottenham was it was a strange one for me because looking from the outside, you see how successful and a big club at the time they were. The football, the lads, everything was great. The one difference, which was a bit of a change for me, was it was like the togetherness weren't quite there. Do you know, like every time I've talked about my football career, it's always been about, you know, we had a good bunch of lads, you know, we all went out together. Tottenham was totally different. I then realised you're in a club that's in a big city because all of a sudden now you're in London.
We've heard that before, where it's difficult, especially at Norwich, where there's nowhere else to go.
And then I remember people used to always say to me, be careful, they're bright lights, and you didn't understand what they're talking about. But what they're talking about is just socially, you've got some would be West End people, you've got the foreign lads would be going to the cafes and all that, and then you got the others who just scatter everywhere. So you never, because London's so big, you had players, they didn't all, like Newcastle, we all lived near each other, where they were scattered all over the place. So socially, we didn't really have many nights out where, you know, you can build up a team spirit and stuff.
And I've said it loads of times on here. It's so important, I think.
I think it's so underrated. It's so, you're right, it's so important because it's not a coincidence that the season went a bit faulty. I think the second or third season I was there, where you can see there's a divide and people are talking behind each other's backs.
Clicks.
And, clicks forming and stuff like that. And there was no team spirit there. You don't forget, we had some decent players there. You know, we had Teddy Sherman, Darren Anton was there. So we had Sol Campbell there. So we had the backbone. We had a decent team there. We were surrounded by some really good players. But unfortunately, like you said, none of us knew anything about each other. When you don't know that player, and like you said, you got these little clicky groups in one corner there, you start to resent. You don't mean to, but that's a natural thing that your barrier comes up. You start to resent it, thinking, look at them, like, who do they think they are, blah, 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 you know.
Not getting involved.
Yeah, not getting involved, lads, you know, looking down at us because we're having a beer and all that. Do you know what I mean? And there was that balance, it was always on the edge. And that's why you get inconsistent performances, because the players weren't together, and I felt that.
Yeah.
And where was the standard of your game at personally because of that? Were you playing as well as you did at Newcastle and Norwich, in your opinion?
I'll be honest with you, first 2 or 3 seasons, yes, I was. And then you start to fall into the trap of, because all of a sudden now, you know, you're going in and training's not sharp, everyone's not at it, you know, everyone's there. Don't get me wrong, great bunch of lads all having a laugh, but no one's pulling each other up. Where at Newcastle, you won't get away with that. The standard's got to be high. So in training, you're popping the ball about everything's short and sharp. You won't get away with messing about too much. You know, everything's serious. And I went to Tottenham. I'm not saying it weren't serious in parts, but it was almost like you could feel anyway that I could feel the team spirit weren't there.
Yeah.
You know, so about the 3rd season, I could see. You know, it came to a fall where you can see now the results are starting. Where before you kind of get away with it because of the quality of the players, the results were masking over everything else that's going on. But by the 3rd season, I think, gosh, I can't remember the manager we went through then.
Jerry
signed me. Then Jerry got sacked. Then we had
Christian Gross,
and I liked him. Everyone thought he's weird, but I think he was a little bit ahead of everyone. As you trained in ideas, so he was the one who was bringing the diets and everything. But the diets he was doing, no one wanted to buy into it, so everyone was resistant against it. So he had no chance there, you know. And at the time, I think Teddy was humming high whether he was going to leave. Sol Campbell was doing the same thing with the Arsenal move. So they were our captains, our leaders, all that. But again, I can't remember too many times where I was out with Sol. I used to room with Sol. So me and Sol were good mates. I used to room with Sol. But I can't remember a time when we were all together, just having a bite to eat or talking about the game. We only discussed the game when we got to the game. We were on the pitch.
Yeah.
There was strange. It was strange, yeah. It was just a weird feeling. You know, like I told you, nothing against the players. The players are brilliant, but because you go through all these managers, like you said, Christian Gross, we had, I think Chris Hooton take over for a little while. And you got George Graham then come in. And even though we've done a cup then, it was still kind of, that cup masked over everything that we'd done, because I'd played every game up to that cup. And then he left me out in the final for no reason whatsoever. And that's when I thought, it reminded me of the Newcastle thing. I thought, here we go again, because like I said, I played every game.
Because I was going to ask, were you injured, like have a niggling injury or anything? Because I saw you played every game.
Yeah, every game.
Did you have a sit-down conversation with him?
No, because he was one of these managers who came in and said the team, he didn't give you a chance, so he said the team on the day. Do you know?
Shitbag way.
Yeah. So you'd sit in the change rooms and his assistant would come in and give it, right, team for today, and he'll stick it up there and he'll have 5 centre-halves on there. And you think, well, who's playing where? Then he'll go back to the manager's office, come back out and say, well, this is what you're playing this way. So it was never a case where, you know, other managers were you give an indication because you'd do a bit of shape on a Friday or something. They'd do no shape with it. He just turned up on the stage and said, right, this is the team. And I looked at it and thought, well, fucking hell, I ain't playing. Been playing well. I thought at least I'll be on the bench if worst scenario, but he didn't even put me on the bench, which is a bit of a wrench. And then they offered me the medal, and I didn't want the medal. So I don't want the medal for just sitting in a squad. You know, that's not how it goes. Yeah, that's a sympathy thing.
You contributed.
I know, but for me, I can have it hanging up with me. It don't mean nothing to me because I should have been playing or part of it.
Yeah.
I should have been even being on a bench, I would have been pissed off. But you don't get time to react because you don't want to be sulking when everything's going on. Everyone's celebrating. So every picture you see me in there celebrating. But when it all calms down after a couple of days, I'm fuming.
Thing is, you could have put it as part of your porn package, though. Like you've got fake taxi, and there's a League Cup winners medal there as well.
I could have done a swap.
50 taxi.
Fake taxi. Good one. I heard that word for a while.
What's fake taxi?
I've got some in the car. I'll show you some. I've got some in the boot.
This is a very busy question for me, but if I go through the strikers that you played with, Klinsmann, Ferdinand, Sheringham, Armstrong, Sutton, and I'll probably be missing more, but Andy Cole. Who would you want to be on the end of one of you? You beat the full-back, you've whipped one in, who would you want to be on the end of it?
Heading ability. If you're talking heading, Les.
He was unbelievable, wasn't
he? He had that Michael Jordan hang time. Yeah.
And how do you think you'd have gone on? Because it's rare today that you see a right-footed right winger and a left-footed left winger. How do you think you'd have gone on today playing on the left, cutting in?
I think I would have gone right. We were actually, you say that, this is what we was doing just before I left Newcastle. I was playing on the left. I scored majority of I was coming inside and shooting.
Yeah.
Then, I think I'll do okay.
Because the scene is like strikers, aren't they, now? The assists and stuff don't really... They're playing on there to get in on goal.
Yeah. I still feel that the actual art of crossing is gone. Mm-hmm. The art of crossing,
well, nobody crosses it in because
everyone
wants to make the ball.
Everyone's about stats now, which is, I watch football now. I find it quite boring at times. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'll flick through games because a lot of the games, the big games where you want to see some intensity, you want to see tackles there. You're not going to get it. You're going to get a team just talking about possession. You know, and stats and all that, and numbers and that. And sometimes them numbers don't add up to goals. But with these statisticians, they'll say, I don't know, the GX, whatever you call these bloody things they keep talking about, possession and stuff. You should be able to score 2 goals based on your possession. It's not always worked like that. But I'm saying, for the fans, with the excitement of football, there's nothing better than...
You just want to see 22 lads going for it.
Yeah, just go for it. Someone, me as a player, I'm looking at that fullback, I'm saying, I'm going to make your life hell today. But in today's games, I won't be doing it. I'll be like, right, I'm going to hit you coming. As soon as you come to me, I'm going to knock it over there. Then you're going to go back. Then I'm going to knock it back again.
Sideways.
It's like chess, and I find that quite laborious, compared to, like you were saying, when in Newcastle, my job was to get that line across the ball. And if it's come from the other side, to get to the far post.
I just wanted to, because it still gets spoken about today, probably the most famous transfer in history was the Sol Campbell to Arsenal. And it's like he's just done an advert, hasn't he?
Yeah, he just done a little documentary, didn't he?
Was it a big thing in the changing room? Because outside of it, it's gone ballistic and it still goes ballistic.
As well. Did he say anything?
I know, it's strange because I was his roommate for the whole time I was there. And of course you have a little conversation, but he kept everything. So if you see the documentary that he done, he'll tell you, he doesn't tell anyone. He kept, I don't know how he kept it quiet, because I'm room with him. We have conversations about football. I knew he wasn't happy. You know, like every other player, players that happy, you kind of know when they're not happy by their body language. So I knew he wasn't happy, but I think he agreed to sign for Arsenal, but didn't let any of the top know. He kept saying that he's a Tottenham. Every time they ask him, doing the right publicity way, doing it, saying, yeah, I'm still a Tottenham player. I'm here. Every time I asked him, "Will you leave?" He kept saying, "Well, I'm here. I'm at Tottenham."
Yeah.
So he
played the game.
Yeah, he played the game, and then all along he'd already agreed to sign.
And as his roommate, you had no idea.
Not a clue. Because again, like I said, your roommates, you have a laugh in the room, and that. You never. We was always, because of the position we were in the league, there was no talk. Oh, I've got to get away from here. Sol ain't that sort of person. Sol's very loyal. He's very loyal to Tottenham. I feel sorry for him because he got harshly treated because of it. It was just a timing of it, because there's been players who have jumped across divides, didn't they, before, gone from Newcastle or Sunderland or whatever, and you get initial bit of stick, but not. He still gets it now. I just maybe feel that Sol didn't realise the importance of it. He probably thought they would just get over it, but they'll never get over that.
Were you playing in his first game when he came back to Tottenham? I remember the atmosphere and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I might have been. Yeah, it was toxic. Yeah, and I think he was surprised at it. But he's a strong player. So what Sol does? You never see Sol show too much emotion. He keeps it all in. He's quite a calm lad. He's brilliant footballer. You know what I mean? And again, I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves, because it gets overshadowed by this Arsenal thing. But when you think about it, it's the same as every other player. You think Teddy left us to win trophies. He won trophies. So he ain't the first one. It's just because it was your local rival that obviously he's got the stick. But when he looks at his trophy cabinet, he says he's done the right thing.
Yeah, and I think fans will hate this, but in the changing room, I bet his teammates were like,
don't blame him. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. We'll never begrudge a player going. The unfortunate thing is like, if you let something like the fans control what you want to do, then you're never going to be ambitious enough to try things. And he had the ambition to do it, but I feel obviously from a personal side of it, we don't know. I'm sure a lot of stuff he got was horrific. I'm sure he probably got letters sent to him and his family gets abused. But it still happens now, and I think it's got to draw a line under it, because I think, as a friend of his, as I am, like, it's very uncomfortable to see him talking about it even now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's terrible.
Did he buy many DVDs off your song?
Yeah. He likes the DVDs. He's got his mind on his DVDs, isn't he? He's DVD relatable.
That one's for you.
It's when the conversation gets serious, the DVDs come out. They do a pack of two.
Three for a
Sol
fiver.
Campbell documentary and fake cams on it. Was it fake taxi?
Fake taxi
underneath. 2 to 1.
At what point when did you enjoy it most at Tottenham?
First 3 years.
Yeah.
First 3 years.
Under Jerry Francis.
Yeah. It was good. And then obviously the team under Jerry started to falter a little bit. And again, the relationship with Jerry started to waver, where we talk about communication again. Communication with him was non-existent. That's just the way he managed. But again, when you think a manager wants you and he gets you there, you kind of think, well, I'm your type of player because you just bought me. But then when things started to go, when the team weren't winning and all that, you think the conversation would still happen, and he still put his arm around and said, come on, look, yeah. But it didn't. He went the other way. He got Andy Sinton in, he went quiet. And again, he done that weird thing of not being present when the team was called out. So like, assistant manager would come in, like I said with George Graham, pick the team and then walk straight out. So as a squad, you're all sitting in there think you're going to play. So you get up, you think, oh, what the fuck am I going to do now? You know, the manager ain't explained it. You could tell. I could tell. I think that the pressure off the job was starting to get to him.
Yeah.
So like you said, the first 3 years, I really enjoyed it, but the rest was a bit of a mental struggle for me because obviously being in and out the team and everything.
Yeah.
And
then what the final being the last straw, I imagine.
Yeah. And I started falling out of love with it then. I was ready to go. It's the first time I've been ready to leave a club before they sold me.
So did you actively speak about that to George Graham that you're ready to go?
Yeah, well,
or did it just...
because I'm not afraid to go knock on the manager's door. I knocked on the door several times and obviously wanted to know. And he always kind of said, "Yeah, you're still part of the squad," and I said, "I want you in the team and all that." But I was still adamant that I thought, well, I just want to play.
Another busy question: who never used to give you a kick? And flip side, who did you used to think, I've got your number?
Yeah, I remember I started when I was young. I had Mark Dennis, Southampton, psycho. We had one.
Is Mark Dennis a psycho? Or are you saying Stuart
Pearce? Stuart Pearce. No, there was one called Mark Dennis.
And was he a psycho?
Oh. My God. Yeah. Another one. Stuart Pearce was more intimidating. He wouldn't, he wouldn't be in your ear and shouting at you and fucking digging you and all that. Fran Benali at Southampton. He'd like to tackle. So being a winger in them days, you had to be a good hurdler. You had to know how to ride a tackle because a lot of them were coming up this high. You know what I mean? But again, there was times where you get your joy against some left backs. I always kind of I always liked to play against Nigel Winterburn. Not saying I used to get the better of him, but we used to have a good battle, me and him together, because I used to always love playing against him. I was getting joy against the funny thing when I had my debut, they quite cleverly played me against a guy called Greg Downs, and no one not know him. He was old school left back for Norwich. He was probably in his 30s, so he was quite clever. Ken Brown. When I had my debut, he played me against him, and he just goes, "Just keep running, just run." And I kept running, and I remember Greg Downs. I went past him about the 4th time. He said, "You fucking go past me again like that." He go, "I'll volley you into the stand." so I told the manager at half time, and the manager swapped me over wings and made me play on the other wing for half an hour. Because I was a bit nervous because I thought I know that Greg Downs at the time as being his apprentice when I was there. So there's been some really tough fullbacks because in my era, Julian Dix, another one to name.
I bet he was horrible to play against.
He was a tough he was fair but tough tackler. So all these kind of people, you always had to have wing mirrors on because you just didn't know where they were coming from. You know what I mean?
They always used to get one, didn't they?
Yeah, as I said, they get one free.
Yeah,
and that 1 free, usually you didn't come back on the pitch. So that 1 free, your leg would be over there, and the other one's over there. That's what they mean by free. So you didn't really kind of survive many free first tackles, but. Yeah, it's been a mix. There's been a mixture.
You mentioned, obviously, you talked about Tottenham, that lack of togetherness. How was West Brom?
West Brom was all right because I was a senior by then.
Yeah,
I was one of the senior ones in there, so I got all the privileges. I would only be trained twice a week. I'd drive up and down. Meg's, and obviously knew Meg is my mate.
Yeah.
So and I was captain. He used to look after me. So that was really good. By then, I'd gone from playing wide to playing number 10. So I was just every time I got it, all I had to do was clip it over the top we had Jason Roberts and Lee Hughes, who were just out and out goal scorers. Out and out goal scorers. So for me, it was brilliant for me. I didn't have to do too much bar sitting in the middle of the park, controlling things and talking to players, and obviously with my experience, pass it on to the younger lads. So I enjoyed that. I mean, I did get offered with that to have another year's extension, but Again, that home thing kicked in with me again, where it got to a stage where, oddly enough, I was travelling from here sometimes, going to training because I'd get an extra day off. So, like, he'd give me the Monday off, so I'd get there Tuesday. I used to get that homesick. I used to drive back home again. And it got crazy. It was like, it's 3.5 hours. And I thought to myself, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, Mr. was saying to me, well, maybe you don't want to be there, but you don't know it. And I sat down and thought, maybe she's right. And that's when I just thought, I'm going to retire.
Do you ever regret that decision? We speak about to a lot of lads about it's a short career, And you got promotion to back in the Premier League, been offered a 1-year extension.
I kind of knew that I weren't going to be playing much of a part. I would have just been a bit part player. Don't forget I was 31, and I think at that time sports nutritionists to help you extend your career and everything. And I lost that in my head. I lost that yard of pace. My game was about pace, quickness, and you kind of know you know when you've lost it, because you then start trying to do things. You think, oh, usually I'm usually past that player. Now he's keeping up with me, or your reaction becomes slow, or you have to be a bit more professional and put the extra work in to keep your fitness levels up. And I admit I didn't do that. I was in West Brom. I was just going there training. The travelling was probably catching up on me, so I was feeling it in games. I was probably getting an hour into the game and not be able to compete the 90 minutes. So your body's telling you all the things that you need to do. Is I had to either stop all the travelling and knuckle down again, but on the other side, I was homesick, travelling back all the time. Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, it's too late to reverse all that now.
It's self-preservation. You know that you can't do it
31, I'm just kidding myself. So the only stage for me next was to play here, was to play more local.
What were Hughes like back then?
Sorry?
What were Hughes like back then? Lee Hughes, because he's a fucking lunatic.
Another mad man. I've met him all, didn't I? I met him all. He's there's something not right. It's not with him. Like I said, he's a funny lad, but Jesus, he's ADHD, everything. He can't keep still.
All the letters.
Bonkers, isn't it?
Oh, he can't keep still. But I tell you now, his lifestyle weren't the best, but Jesus, he just ran all day.
Yeah.
Ran all day.
I played with him at 38, 39, and he was still exactly the same, like a 14-year-old just chasing about like a madman.
Honestly, his fitness levels were unbelievable. He'll run there. You know what I mean? Sometimes you look at him and to have a football conversation with him, you wouldn't be sitting down like this having a football conversation with him, would you? Because like I said, he doesn't come across as, having that football knowledge, but put the ball on the pitch and tell him to run, and he knows where the goal is. And then we had Jason Roberts with him. They were unbelievable strikers, both of us. So my job was simple. My job was really easy, just to get the ball, find spaces and just roll it into him.
Was Russell Holt your keeper?
Yeah, Holt.
You got Holt on Holty?
Yeah, Holt.
Another character.
Yeah. He'd like to speak his mind. Holt. Like to speak his mind. Yeah.
Were you there when he? Did he not get caught in the car in his tracksuit?
That was just after I left. Yeah, there was some dodgy going on there, weren't it?
Mobile DVD player.
He didn't need no DVDs.
No. He parked the place around there, wasn't it?
We'll move on, Alty. Yeah, we'll do Alty a favour and move on.
Yeah.
We do have loads of people message saying they used to have your name on the back of the shirts growing up. I mean, you weren't the favourite player. They rated you, but
cheaper, isn't it? It's a cheaper option.
That's tight.
Fox
7.
Yeah, it's cheaper, isn't it?
50p a letter.
Weren't with a favourite player, just cheaper option, wasn't it? Bastards.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
They must have printed twice as many of the Ruel Fox Premier League stickers.
Yeah.
The amount of swaps you had,
Ruel Fox. I was getting swapped all the time.
You couldn't give them away.
Just my life, innit? My life career, innit? Getting bored of me swapping me.
9 Ruel Foxes for one.
Yeah.
One Peter Beardsley, please. So, as you said, no regrets about finishing early then?
No. Like I said, you have to be honest with yourself. And I just thought, I realised where I'm from. I'm a lad from this estate. Do you know what I mean? I've come from an estate where I think I've been in the right place at the right time. At the same time, I think it's happened for a reason. I think I've been quite blessed because there's been a lot of people come from my estate who have made it. We just seem to have a net of people who come through the ranks, who play street football. Like we say, we used to play over the park with our elders, and we just learn the game just like that. We're street players. So for me to be able to have the career I've had, I can't have no regrets, mate, because there was players I looked at who I played with who were better than me. Do you know what I mean? But like you said, it's all about timing.
Who was the best right back you played with?
Or the best partnership?
Yeah. Again, Norwich, probably the same time, because without them, I'm not the same player. So probably I'd say Ian Culverhouse he was an ex-Tottenham player when I was at Norwich. Right back, I had Steve Watson. If I could control him sometimes, he got further up the pitch than me sometimes. But Watto was good. And another one at Newcastle called Mark Hottinger. Tottenham, me and Dean Austin had a good relationship right back. And then Stevie Carr, who then eventually went to Irish Lane, went to Newcastle. But that's me. I always, wherever player, I'll always get that relationship with him because it's important. So I'll constantly talk to him and say what I like to do and what I expect them. I'll say things like, if I'm doing a feint off the ball, I'll let them know I'd like to take a player away to come short. So they understand when it's just no good, you just turn up and then they've got to read what you're doing all the time. So me and whoever I play with, I always made up my mission to have a good relationship with him.
They're a thing of the past, aren't they? If you think of like Neville Beckham, they always had understandings. And
Erwin Giggs.
Who could you name now?
Erwin Giggs was phenomenal, I
couldn't name one where you go,
because now, like I said, them wings now would come in and it's almost like you got wing backs who are going up and down, and it's a struggle for. But again, you're right. You can see when you look at teams, you can think, do they actually talk to each other? Mm-hmm. Do they actually know what they want off the pitch? Because there's a lot of confusion when they're on the pitch. You can see it in the way they play.
You say obviously you knew it was time to retire, but you retired in 2002 and got your first international cap in 2004.
I know. I got a recall. It came across quite funny that I'd retired, and like ex-footballers do, you're in denial. I'm like, so I'm just going to chill out, fucking play golf, fucking have a few beers, a few holidays. Within a month, I'm bored. I went and bought a restaurant. That failed. I tried loads of things. I was just getting bored. Played golf on my own because, in your retirement in your head, you're picturing what it's going to be like, but it's the complete opposite. Because all of a sudden, the mates you want to spend time with, they've got 9 to 5 jobs. Yeah. So I'm playing golf. None of my friends from football are near me, apart from after they travel. So after a while, the novelty wears off. And then, you start drinking too much, you start socialising too much, you do all these things and you get stuck in a rut. And that, again, that came at the right time for me because I just started getting into the restaurant business, didn't like it, got stung by quite a lot of money out of it. So I was kind of in that loop of feeling sorry for myself. And then I got a call from someone saying, I hear your parents are from an island called Montserrat in the Caribbean. And I said, yeah. I said, we'd like you to come over and do some training. So I said, I'll pop over, have a look, little island, you know what I mean? Go over there, a bit of sun. So I went over there, liked it. Standard was poor. It was an international team, but I'd say my Whitton team, it was step 6, our Whitton team would probably beat them. And these are in international. This is international FIFA regulated.
Basically just a point of anybody who can play football.
You're on an island of 6,000 people. So you ain't got much to choose from. It sounds a lot, but it ain't. So you've got a prison guard, you've got someone who works at the bookies, and it's just all these different people like you would do in the Sunday league, but they're representing Montserrat internationally. So when I went over there, you can imagine what I saw. I was like, fucking hell, what's going on here? First time I got there, I'm fucking saying, fucking hell, get the ball, fucking hell, swearing. They're gone mad. Can't swear. You're not allowed to swear. They're all churchy and Catholic. So straight away, I'm getting told off.
The DVDs out.
I'm getting told off. I'm getting told. He said, you can't say that. You can't be.
They kill at confession Sundays.
Yeah, you can't be effing. Can't be swearing. Can't be calling the C word. So I'm straight away up to take that in my game. So I'm like, having to talk nice to people and all that. That was just weird. And then the coach we had on board, we started to get a bit of a tune out of him. Then I thought, do you know what I need to do? I need to come over here and start looking for lower league players who might have a bit of heritage, might have some connections to their family. So I got Tesfaye Bramble, one of the younger Bramble, really good player.
One who were at Southend?
Yes, Tesfaye, really good striker. Bit of a maverick, you know what I mean? Didn't know whether he's going to turn up with training or not and stuff, but really good lad. I'm still close to him now. So I said to him, give me an international cut. He was buzzing. So took him out there. But the things that you expect out there started going a bit pear-shaped really quickly. You're talking about, we got to the airport and obviously I've got all these players, got players from up north and all that, got about 5 players, all at the airport, checking them in, fucking they ain't paid for the tickets. So Montserrat hadn't paid for the tickets, they reserved them, but didn't pay for them. So it's not like you can pick the phone up and it's like, yeah, can you phone Montserrat? I'm like trying to phone him and it's a hours difference, there's the tone rings and no one's answering it. So Muggy's pay for the flights, got there, and then to get the money back, you had to fly to another island to get cash out of a bank. It was all dodgy. It was just not right. And then after that, after it kept going on like that all the time. In the end, we went to play in it's like CONCACAF, which is a goal tour. It's similar like our European one. So it qualifies you to go to the World Cup and everything. So we've got Jamaica and all these other teams here, St. Lucia, all the islands, like getting smashed 8-0 and all that and stuff like that. So I decided to play. So I said, look, I need to play. So I hadn't kicked the ball for 2-3 years. Kick the ball, not at all, not an angle, nothing. So I go out there, first game play, pop my hamstring, calf's gone, everything's popping everywhere, and everything's falling to bits. But then I managed to carry on in the game, and then I got a penalty scored, so I was happy with that.
You took the penalty?
Yeah. There's no footage, luckily. But I could only walk out, strapping here, strapping there. I just wanted to score for my mum, because that's my mum's island, and it meant so much to her for play. I wasn't going to get involved, but I could see the joy in her face and saying, oh yeah, I'd love you to play. So I ended up current retirement to play, and then I retired again after. So I played 2 games like that, retired, and yeah, that was a really good experience, because obviously it brought me closer to my heritage and where my family are from, and stuff like that. So it was very memorable, but at the same time, football wise, there it was dodgy as hell. It was corruption and all that. Right. So I was right. I thought I can't put my name to this because I was trying to come over here and bring players over there, but facility-wise, we didn't have a doctor, didn't have a physio. They had no hotel to stay in. When they come over, we had to put them in the hostel. Professional players, you can't ask Kieran Dyer to come over there, sit in a hostel. Do you know what I mean?
And where are they at today? Have they come on since then?
They were climbing the FIFA rankings. I think how many's in that FIFA ranking? Probably 190 or something like that. I think we were, when I went there, we were bottom. when? No, there's more to it. There's more to it. When I left, we were bottom. No. We actually climbed up because we won. I think we won 1 game and drew 1. Got back on the island. There was a carnival. They were going crazy. It's the first time ever got a point on the FIFA rankings. Hey, it's brilliant.
So you hadn't gone out there and played for him just for
that. I don't think I'm in a villa, pools there, beaches, everything. It was beautiful, but the money side of it was I weren't comfortable with having my name associated with, because don't forget, every time if I'm going to Southend, I'm saying, look, I need test pay. We really should have insurance to cover him. We should have physios, doctors. Yeah. So anything goes pear-shaped, then obviously we had nothing. But all good. Again, right place, right time. Things happen for a reason.
Another experience.
Yeah, it was a brilliant experience. Really good.
Class,
well, thank you very much, mate.
Absolutely fantastic.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for that. By the way, how are Whitton United doing it this year in the league?
Shit. Oh, no, all right. No, I'm middle of the table. Like, keeping it short as I can do. Here now, you'll be looking back and hear about it, and then we're going to fold in 3 or 4 years' time, because you can't keep up with the Joses, and the money's not, people ain't now got money to be thrown around for sponsors and doing all these things, where before you had all these volunteers would turn up and you'll help do up the club, and, nowadays you have people, managers here, they turn up, play their game, leave the pitch smashed up, leave the corner flags out, go home, and then leave it to all us volunteers to go and clear up. It's just the way it is. You either fighting with people or you just say, it's the sad state of football. Not trying to finish on a bad note, but that I accept it. I know where we are, but I'm also wary where I'm from, and I'm passionate about this place, that it's a community place. So I'm trying to make sure that at least we've got a community club here that people can be proud of. And this club history goes back, it'll be 100 years now.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that status, but you've got to be sensible also and say, well, we can't keep it by trying to keep up with the Joneses and playing in a league that's way too big for us. But I think the standard is decent, but because of the money involved in it, you end up having to fix dugouts and all that, because the league wants you to do all these sort of things, but the league don't realise that you're only getting 20 people through the gate. but they want you to repair this and fix lights that all come to about 30 grand.
Thankless task.
Yeah,
like, and if you put it in for the love of it in the community.
If you don't do it, then they'll say we'll deduct your points and kick you out the league. And you think, well, how's that going to help us?
Yeah.
Which is quite sad. That that you're trying to just run a newer community club where players like myself will get spotted and move on to Premier clubs, which is a great boost for us. But we can't even get them through the door because they'll rather go play with someone else who's offering them £80 a game. It's just the way football is. So I'm hoping, if I ever speak to you like Kane, that the club is still running. But
good luck, man.
It's tough. It's tough. But
you must be. You must still love it.
Yeah, I love it.
When we come in here, you were mopping up. I know you said you want to get sacked.
Yeah. I mean, I said it's in my blood. Like I told you, as we've been talking all the time, every time I've told you, I've always been homesick. I love the place. I love Whitton. I love where I'm from. I'm proud of where I'm from. So I want to see a place like this carry on going, because without this place here, I wouldn't have had my career. It's got to start from somewhere, innit?
Yeah.
So I'm quite passionate about supporting the club, but at the same time, people have to realise that it takes a lot of support and a lot of help from not just people around this club, but the people from the outside who are throwing all these rules at us and telling not just us, every club about targets you have to hit, and forgetting about the football.
Yeah.
The main thing is about the kids enjoying themselves. Once we start forgetting about that, then football doesn't become enjoyable anymore, does it?
Finish on a high. Pop your boot up and we'll take
Yeah.
So we'll take 3 videos a piece.
Debbie does Dallas.
You're still into your bukkakis? You're after your bukkake? You got any of them?
Fox in the box.
That would pay one of the players' wages.
Top man, mate. Thank you very much.
Sleepy Towns. Thanks a lot, chaps.
Brilliant,
Love it. Thank you.